What's up, everyone? Azariel here for another E3 conference reactions video. And in this video, I'm going to be giving you guys my reactions to the announcements to the games made during the Sony 2014 E3 media press conference. And I just got to say, man, I was wondering how they were going to top what they did last year. Because, last year, like, they kind of had that crutch. Microsoft fucked up so much, and then they came in with that sucker punch, and they just went crazy and impressed a whole bunch of people that they weren't going to end up going down this negative road that Microsoft was going down. And, they ended up getting a lot of positivity from that. But the question was looming over everybody's heads, exactly how are they going to top what they did last year? Because Microsoft um, had did a complete 180 to what they did last year. Last year they were all about smart glass technology and they didn't focus on the games like they should have. And this time around they did, but they also announced that they will be doing a sale for the Xbox One without the Kinect. And even then, they kind of took some sucker punches during this Sony conference, having to do with that. And I'm just eager to get started with this conference. So first off, I would just like to say Jack Tretton actually has stayed backstage during this time, and of course he was the one that came out last year that had announced that PlayStation 4 will not, have any of the negative things that will be coming with the Xbox One at the time. With the like the various policies and how you'll be able to share your games and things like that without worry of any type of copyright protection or any of that dumb bullshit that Microsoft was doing last year. And he stayed backstage. So since he was one of the ones that delivered this big sucker punch, to Microsoft last year, he kind of took a back seat and he stayed backstage while the conference was going on. So I was wondering how the conference would have turned out, you know. So without further ado, let's just dive right into everything that happened during the conference. So first off, the PlayStation E3 conference kicks off with a trailer for Destiny. Like you see this spaceship flying down on present day Mars, and what it is that, and they were announcing how um, it was this glorious time of the traveler, quote unquote, and how mankind has like tripled in population, and how they can walk among the stars and all that good stuff. And then the darkness takes over and pretty much wipes out everything, and your Earth's last hope for survival. And there's this cube slash star shaped formed robot that is with you, and he says that hey, you're mankind's last hope for survival, Earth's last hope for survival, so don't mess it up. Like he was being kind of humorous with it. And the trailer didn't really show actual gameplay, but what they did show during the trailer was like little montages of things happening. Saying like during like fight scenes and things like that. So it looked cool. The graphics and the story looked interesting enough. Like it has me pulled in. And I'm looking forward to playing Destiny whenever it gets released. And Andrew House, he comes back out and he announces that that Destiny will be launched on the PlayStation first and will be available to beta access July 17th. They had a website where he announced that this weekend you will be able to gain access to a 2-day alpha trial or something like that. But I couldn't take a look at the website that they were announcing because like the camera didn't zoom in on it. So it was kind of hard for me to get the website. So I apologize for that, but it is what it is. So Andrew House also announced that the PlayStation will be bundled with the Destiny game, as well as a white PlayStation 4 with a 30-day PS Plus membership. So PlayStation will be getting a new color on September 9th. So looks like that'll be the time for me to get PlayStation, because I said last year I was kind of waiting for all of like the negative things with this first line of systems coming out, and I was waiting for like a new color to come out. It looks like if they finally are doing it, so now I gotta go out there and get my PlayStation 4 because they got some good stuff coming out for PlayStation 4, as you will see as the video progresses. So then he announces another PlayStation 4 exclusive, the Order 1886, and like you see this guy walking through this dark, ravaged, abandoned building, looks like, slowly and carefully, and he is taken in, like he's walking with his like candle lit old time lantern, and then he comes up on this what seems to be like a zombie, feasting on like a dead body, and then this zombie guy turns into like what seems to be a werewolf, and the guy starts to give chase. So as he is turning back, the guy is shooting at the zombie that's trying to walk up to him, and eventually the monster catches him, slams him against the wall, and tosses him through a window into another room. And then the guy, like, he takes like something in his necklace and he drinks it. Now I don't know if it was supposed to like give him back some blood or whatever it was that he lost when he fell through that window, or if the werewolf had sliced him on his side or whatever the case was, but he drunk something, and I don't know what it did for him, but he crawls around, like, then he fires a gun, then he goes off and hides. The werewolf jumps in the room, jumps toward the guy again, and he's shooting him, and that was the end of the demo. Like, it just ended right then and there. So the Order 1886, another game that was supposed to be a launch title, if I'm not mistaken, for the PlayStation 4, but it was pushed back, and it looked pretty interesting enough for me to want to go out there and say, you know what, I can't wait for this game to get launched, because this was actually one of the games that I wanted to get early on. But after I found out that that a lot of the games on the PS4 was going to be, like, pushed back, I decided to, cancel my PlayStation 4 pre-order and just say, you know what, fuck it, you know. But whatever they did to it, I'm hoping it was worth it, because oftentimes you get companies that push games back several months and they don't really do too much to it. Like, they don't improve the graphics, like they don't add more gameplay to it, like they just push it back for no reason. And I'm just hoping they did that game justice, man, because I'm eager to get my hands on it. So next, they showed a trailer of what seemed to be some origami birds flying. It's a game called Entwined, and which is a game that looks a lot like Audio Surf, and there was another game that I played just last year that was similar to it. And I can't remember the name of that game. Hold on one second, because I think I have it in my playlist. Hold on. Oh, that's right, that was the name of the game. Like, the name of the game was Dyad, and I was playing it last year, and it was kind of like that same style of game, and that will be available. Scott Rowe, he had stepped up and announced that the game will be available for $19.99. So Entwined will be available for $10. That's cool. As of right now, right this moment, you guys can go to PlayStation 4 and you'll be able to get the game. You'll be able to, yeah, you'll be able to play it on PlayStation 4 from the network. Download it from the network for $10. So that's interesting. I kind of enjoyed Diet a little bit. It was kind of like a different game for me. So for the people that kind of like that Audio Surf style of game, what it is actually is that you're playing as two different, well, like dragons, like one orange and one blue, and there's gonna be like these orange and blue lines, and you have to use both of the thumbsticks to control each one of the dragons, and you have to keep them in line with their color. So it's kind of like Dyad a little bit, where like you have to get certain colors to match each other and things like that as you're flying through these levels, and it looks pretty cool. I mean, for a $10 game, it looks okay, so it's not bad. So next, he announces that there will be a standalone DLC for Infamous Second Son, and that you don't need the original game to play it. But if you have it, you will get some exclusive content. And the DLC is called Infamous First Light, and I believe it's starring the female that was in Second Son. If you uh, took the evil path. Now, forgive me if I got that wrong because I didn't play Infamous Second Son, but I believe that if you took the evil path, like there's a female that you meet, and that's the character that will be in uh, this standalone DLC. Forgive me for that. Next, Pete Smith, I believe that was his name, because I didn't hear it too good. He comes out to then showcase Little Big Planet 3, and it shows more depth, new weapons called, well, this one weapon that they had in the demo, um, it was called the Pumpinator. I wonder how many jokes you can make off of that. The weapon was called the Pumpinator, and what it does is that it blows air, which he used to blow this windmill or the like this gear, and it turned and it revealed this new character called Oddsock, which is supposed to be like a little knitting dog, just like supposedly. And then Oddsock, what he's able to do is that like he's able to run up walls and he can wall jump and he can run faster than Sockboy. So during the demo, they actually do this, and he climbs up onto this wheel. He runs and uses his speed to turn the wheel, and it reveals another new character called Toggle. Now, Toggle is like the big, strong guy, um, which can, you know, which the player can make smaller. He can turn to like the biggest guy can actually turn into the smallest guy, and climb underneath these small holes and things like that. And also there's this other new character that got revealed afterwards, and his name was Swoop, and he's a bird that can carry the other characters in the game up to higher points that they may not be able to reach on their own. So it's kind of like pretty much kind of like the way Tails had carried Sonic in uh the original Sonic the Hedgehog 3. So it's kind of like that, and the players, they have to work together to get through these levels because you know it, during the demo, like they even showcase that you can take Toggle, you have to make him small, use Swoop to carry him up onto this platform, um, something which is weight activated. Turn Toggle small, use Swoop to carry him up there, then turn Toggle back into this big guy. He uses his weight to like reveal a hidden door so that you can bounce to the other section of the level, and it looked pretty damn good. I have to say, they took Little Big Planet and they made it more, you know, they pretty much just made it more of a adventure slash multiplayer game. So if you got three other friends that want to join in on that when that game gets released, by the way, it will be coming in November, and they did showcase a montage trailer of various things you can do in it. Things such as like foot races, um, things such as also like playing tennis, etc., etc. The game will be coming in November this year, so I'm looking forward to Little Big Planet 2. I kind of missed out on Little Big Planet 1 and Little Big Planet 2, so Little Big Planet 3, excuse me, because I said Little Big Planet 2 like a little while ago, but Little Big Planet 3 will be coming in November, so that's something that I'm looking forward to. Next up was Shuhei Yoshida, and he comes out, and God bless him, he spoke English the best he could. I understood him, but he seemed like he was having some trouble, you know, just trying to speak English properly. But he came out and he introduced this game called Bloodborne. Now, Bloodborne is developed by Software and by and lead director Miyazaki. I couldn't get his first name because like the name just flashed really quick, and I was reaching over to get my water, and when I looked back, like the only name I got was Miyazaki. So forgive me if I didn't get the full name. Um, but I believe it was Hateo or Hate. I don't know. I'm sitting here trying to remember the name, but I can't remember it. Um, Gosh, what was his first name? Uh, all I know is that his last name was Miyazaki. So hopefully some of you guys know who I'm talking about. But yeah, like the trailer starts off with this old man rolling up in his wheelchair in like this dark, eerie town, and the camera cuts off to this mob of like undead people with torches, and all of them look undead, and there was a dog with them with like no skin on him. Like literally, it looks like just like a muscle dog dripping with blood, and it looked disgusting. And then you see this guy dragging a dead body on his blade, which he then extends and starts to slice up some of the monsters. And he goes into this room, and then like this big monster just appears behind him, and he opens up his mouth and closes it, and that was the end of the demo. I mean, of the trailer, and it looked creepy as hell. So Bloodborne, another weird looking game that interestingly enough, I'm interested in playing. It's been a while since I played me a game that instilled some form of fear. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that game is going to be like. They didn't have a release date for that game, and so that remains to be seen. But the game trailer did just enough to get me interested in seeing what they're going to showcase with the game in the future. So I'm gonna just leave it at that. Next up, Alexander Hutchinson comes out to present Far Cry 4, and it's placed in Cryat, located in the Himalayas. And in the demo, you see this guy, AJ Gale, in first person, walking down the side of a mountain, and he begins to head towards this explosion that happens just a small way ahead of him, and he's walking down towards it, and he comes across this backpack and his grappling hook, and he's using it to climb up this wall. And once he makes it up there, he takes out a crossbow and shoots the guy that was in front of this building on guard duty. Then he places a bomb on a gas barrel, kicks it down, then detonates it, jumps into a vehicle, then drives over a bridge, shooting after other vehicles that he's driving behind, shoots one off the cliff, drives up to one of the side of the trucks, kills the people inside, jumps inside, then the truck swerves off the cliff. He parachutes down into this small fortress area that I can't remember the name of the area, but there was a small fortress there. But then player 2 joins in as Herc, and he is on this mini copter. So while player 2 is flying around in a mini copter, player 1 is shooting down enemies from up above. And then on a side note, you see this elephant that is in the fortress as well, and he's just rampaging through, literally just flinging bodies everywhere as he's just rampaging through it, and even ramming one of the trucks, causing it to blow up, and then you end up beating a mission. So I don't know if the elephant or other animals will actually come into play when it comes to Far Cry 4 and help you, but just based on that demo, it seems to be the case. So I'm looking forward to playing with elephants in Far Cry 4, to help me get some of these missions done, because that elephant was rampaging like a motherfucker through that fortress, and he fucked that car up, like he fucked that truck up. So that's what it is. So Adam Boyes announced. So Adam Boyes, he then comes out and he announced that your friends can join in even if they don't own the game Far Cry 4. So that one was interesting. If they don't own Far Cry 4, they can still jump in the game with you. So that's, I don't know how exactly that's going to work, but it seems interesting enough to, like, okay, wow, that's pretty good. So when Far Cry 4 gets announced, when Far Cry 4 gets released, I'm actually going to have to test that theory. So So like just to see how well it works. I see a theory, but yeah. So he then proceeds to talk about fan mail and how they were paying attention to what people were saying to them in the fan mail and what they requested them in games the most. So a trailer then plays of this guy jogging down this strip, and he is passing by, and everyone he's passing by is just getting attacked and mauled by zombies out of nowhere. Then, out of nowhere, like he just starts to decay, like his flesh starts to fall off, and then he begins to run kind of bow-legged, and he turns into a zombie himself. And it was weird and funny at the same time. So then you see this van speeding up behind this big mob of zombies, and then the driver gets out and steals the shoes off the zombie jogger that they just ran over. And it was just like, oh man, fresh kicks. It was hilarious. And it was revealed that it was the trailer for Dead Island 2 with a 30-day exclusive beta on PlayStation 4. So that was cool. Then they announced Battlefield Hardline, which takes the cops and robbers theme of our childhood. Like, everybody used to play cops and robbers when they were little. And they placed it in Battlefield, and they added all these other elements to it. And it seems to be some environmental destruction and various other things going on in the game. It looked cool, and I'm gonna just leave it at that because it is like an FPS shooter. I really don't know how to elaborate on more than that. Like I can only like react to what they showed, and and then he proceeds to announce a partnership with Disney, and this exclusive for Disney Infinity with the Avengers. Like there was Hawkeye, there was the Hulk, and there was somebody else. I think it was Thor, or maybe it was Iron Man. I can't remember exactly because I didn't get a chance to look at all of them. Like again, like that camera, like I didn't get a chance to see everything. But then he announces that there will be exclusive content with Destiny, and then out of nowhere, so there was a Hulk smash. Like the trailers kind of blended together, and out of nowhere he just said Hulk smash. You know, it was kind of funny, audio bugs, and then he announces a partnership with Paradox, and then they showed a trailer for this game with this wizard that has been unemployed for like 1,231 days, and it was some hilarious moments with that trailer. Like he's trying to heat his tea with his magic staff, and he blows his cat up by accident, like he was polishing his staff, and then like the magic from the staff kind of bounced off of the lampshade. It hit the cat, and the cat blew up. But it was a trailer for Magica 2, and they said learn how to spell again. Like that was just too much hilarity going on. It was just too much hilarity going on, so with that Magica 2 trailer. Like I was over here dying, and then this 12-year-old kid like began reading this letter on screen, or well, you thought it was a 12-year-old kid that was reading the letter, but at the end of the letter, okay, so while like the letter is being read, the kid says that she is 12, but at the end of the letter it said that the kid was only 10 years old reading the letter. It turns out that it was Tim Schafer that had read it because he was the one holding it up, looking all silly like, I gotcha. And then he announced that Grim Fandango will be getting an HD remake, which is cool. Like the crowd went crazy when they heard about Grim Fandango. I don't know too much about it, so I don't want to say that, so I don't really know how good or bad the game was. But since everybody was reacting to it the way that they were, I'm actually kind of interested in kind of looking that game up and seeing what it was about. Because if it's getting an HD remake, I mean, obviously then it was already out before, right? So I'm interested in seeing what Grim Fandango was like before I take interest to what the remake is. So he announced another partnership with Devolver Digital and showcased a bunch of indie games. They had games like Broforce, they had games like Titan Souls, Not a Hero, Hotline Miami, Crow Team, uh, the what was the name of that game? The oh crap, my fucking charger came out. My laptop. Hold up, gotta plug this back up. I was wondering why the hell my screen went dark, but it was the Talos Principle, and like they didn't show much of the game, but from what I've seen, I mean, am gonna have to see more of like a demo or something to really like develop a taste as to whether or not I want to bother with it. But but yeah, man, it looks pretty okay. Like it doesn't, you know, like I said again, it wasn't enough of it like for me to really form an opinion about it. But they announced like a bunch of games coming with these partnerships, and I'm really happy that they said made that happen. Because last year PlayStation had announced a bunch of partnerships that Microsoft actually lost that they picked up, and it was a lot of cool indie titles that they picked up from that. So good for them, and I'm glad to see that they're continuing to do that. On top of that, Adam announced that they made a PlayStation exclusive. They made another PlayStation exclusive made by Suda54. Like he said Suda54, but I think he meant Suda51 because I don't know about Suda54, but I know about Suda51 though. And yeah, and they played this trailer, and as the trailer plays, like you see these half-naked people walking around with a gas mask, and they have like giant axes, flails, morning stars, and they're bashing and chopping other people. And the game is called Let It Die, coming to PlayStation 4 in 2015. It seems to be a multiplayer style of game where you can sneak up on people and bash them with your weapons, and I really didn't know what to take from it. Like it was really just like a montage of what the fuck is going on, literally. But it seemed like it could be a fun game. Excuse me, but that remains to be seen. So let's continue. He then goes to announce a company called Giant Squid, which is a new company, if I heard him right, from the people who made Journey. And this trailer is playing what seems to be like an underwater world style of game, and like you see the scuba diver swimming around, and he's exploring these underwater caves and things like that. And the game is called Abzu. It's called Abzu, and it seems to be like Journey, but only underwater. You know, and that was my first impressions of the game. So don't really know what to expect from that. I mean, like there were some moments during the trailer where the guy seems to be like he was like searching this one area, and this shark was kind of sneaking up behind him, and the scuba diver had turned around, and then the shark had just swam off. So I don't know if that will play a major part in the game where like you have to keep your eyes on certain sea creatures in order for you to so like make sure that you don't get eaten or anything like that. So that remains to be seen, but the game looks okay. Like I didn't play Journey, so I can't really say too much about it, but it looked pretty okay. Like it looked okay. Next, Andrew House then it comes out to announce another PlayStation 4 title. Uh, the trailer plays, and it looks like a futuristic Jurassic Park game. And you're in first person, and you're walking around, and all of a sudden you jump into this space fighter jet, and then you fly off the planet into outer space, flying through this gunfight that's happening with these big ships, and you fly into another planet. The game is called No Man's Sky, and Sean Murray of the indie studio Hello Games comes out to talk more about it, and he says that the people who play it will start off on different planets. So there's like a this big, massive, infinite world that he said that the game will have, and so like he doesn't even understand how massive the game is going to be, and he was the one that helped make it, so it seems to be very, very open world esque, or I should say like pretty much like an open universe where you can fly off of one planet onto another. You can get into air fights, in space. Well, not air fights, but you'll be able to get into some space fights and things like that, and you'll be able to explore other planets. And that is actually interesting to see a game have that much depth to it, and to have that much space in the game. Like that's, so like that seemed to be pretty cool. That seems to be pretty cool. So but yeah, and on another note, when he came out talking, like he seemed kind of nervous when he was speaking. Like I don't know if anybody else kind of picked up on that, but he seemed pretty nervous with you know as he was on stage. Like he just seemed like he was just nervous on stage or something. But it is what it is. Like he did a good job. Like I took my hat to him. Next, Andrew House comes back out to speak more about the PlayStation 4, and like he talks about more about the PlayStation camera, and about how it was optional for the player to buy it. Again, taking another shot at Microsoft for forcing players to buy that useless Kinect that nobody really wanted. Because if you can make the Xbox One, you know, without the PlayStation, without the Xbox Kinect, then what's the purpose of even bundling? You know what I'm saying? Why make other people pay that $100? Why force them to do that? So they did take another shot at them for that, and but then he goes to talk about something that a lot of people heard about, like way before the conference. It was called the PlayStation Oculus, which will work with the PlayStation camera. And they had some games at E3 that was I can't remember the names on them, the names of the game, but I believe one was called Street Lounge and another one was called Jurassic something. Yeah, like I can't remember the name of it, but it seems like the PlayStation Oculus will work with the PlayStation camera, um, which is pretty interesting. Like, you know, the PlayStation camera, nobody really had a reason to buy it, and I guess if you're going to get the Oculus, then of course, if it's meant to work with the PlayStation camera, then then it will make sense to get it. So only thing I'm hoping is that they actually do something with the Oculus, and this isn't another one of those long-term failed investments. For example, like the Xbox 360 Connect, which was pretty much dead when it came out. Really, it didn't really have any games that make you go out there and buy it, or something with the PlayStation Move. Like you didn't need the PlayStation Move in order to play certain games. It was just compatible with certain games, and even then, you know what I mean. It's just one of those things where I hope in the long term, like they don't regret making this thing. So hopefully they come out with games that can actually work with it, that are fun, that are exciting, and that are actually worth playing, and that are worth the player's time. Because last thing you want is a fucking Dragon Ball Z Connect game. That's the last thing you would want. So I'm gonna just leave that there. Um, he then introduces Sean Layden, president and CEO of Sony Entertainment, who goes on to talk about to continue to bring great gaming experiences, and he proceeds to talk about the um the uh PlayStation Network, and he says that they have been paying attention to the gamers, and now YouTube is coming to the PlayStation 4 later this year. So Hold on one second. Gotta correct my notes. Okay. All right. But yeah, YouTube is coming to the PlayStation 4 later this year, and you will be able to upload, their video captures to their YouTube channels, which is great. If somebody's playing video games for a living like myself and various other people on YouTube, this could actually be a very good thing. Um, but what they didn't announce is whether or not this was going to be, or so like would that actually slow down the PlayStation 4 or not, which I'm hoping it doesn't happen. But it's one of those things where I'm just like, okay, all right, maybe, you know, like I'm just really hoping that that's not the case. Okay, but it was a great announcement. Then he announces that you can watch gameplays in spectator mode in real time, and you can actually speak with other players as they are playing it, and you can either help them or you can hurt them. I'm just hoping that it's a way to turn this thing off. Because if you're playing a game, and like you're really trying to focus on it, last thing you want is somebody, talking in their microphone non-stop, messing you up in your game, trolling you, and all of that. So I'm hoping that they add a feature where you can just silence, other people's microphones, or you can turn their mics off to where you don't hear them, and things like that. So then he proceeds to speak on how players had wanted more free to play games. And he even emphasized on that. He said free to play means free to play. And then this montage trailer plays for a large variety of games that are free to play for the PlayStation 3, the PlayStation 4, and on the PlayStation Vita. And some of those games look actually nice. I couldn't get it, like the camera was zoomed in, so I couldn't see any of the names on any of the games. Um, I think there was like one or two of them. One called like War Tune or something like that, and there was another one called. There was another one called The Singing Monsters or something like that. I don't know, but it was really like a lot of games that they were showcasing as free to play games coming to the PlayStation 3, PS4, and the PS Vita. So I'm glad like the PS Vita didn't get left out of this. So then he talks about how PlayStation Now and the ease of entry, giggity, will be. uh, I threw myself off there. He then talks about PlayStation Now and how the ease of entry and all of that, and how it will be available for open beta July 31st. I think he said either June 31st or July 31st. I can't remember. Uh, what I'm saying? Please forgive me. But I believe it was July 31st because he was kind of talking kind of fast. He was talking kind of fast, so forgive me if I didn't hear him correctly. But I believe he said July 31st, but it could have been June 31st. So forgive me for that. Um, but yeah, and later, on the PlayStation 3, PlayStation Now will be coming. And he then announces that for those who do not have a PlayStation console yet, if you have a PlayStation TV, you'll be able to play PlayStation games. All you need is a PlayStation controller assembled through PlayStation Now, and then announces that will, PS Now will be coming to the PlayStation Vita, and how the Vita works with the PlayStation 4. He then announces PlayStation TV, which is funny that he talked about that like before he actually starts to bring up the actual, like device or whatever the case is. But then he announces PlayStation TV and how you'll be able to use this device on another TV that your system isn't connected to. And the price for it is $99, and it looks like a small handheld, like direct capture device, kind of. Saying like that's like the size of it. Like it looks like a small direct capture device. I'm getting kind of tongue tied, but there will also be a bundle that was a little over $100, I think. And the bundle that comes with it will be a PlayStation controller, a voucher for one of the latest Lego games. I can't remember which one that they showed on the conference. And I don't even think he said which one. But I think it was like Lego City or something like that. I don't know, but it was one of like the latest Lego games. And you will be able to get those two things along with an HDMI cord for the PlayStation TV, of course, and there will be an SD card as well that comes with it for the PlayStation TV. So something like that is like a nice little bundle. And considering that those who may not have a PlayStation, you know, uh, system yet, and even though like they may not be interested in playing a PlayStation system, you can still play PlayStation, or the PlayStation's vast library of games through the PlayStation TV. So that's pretty cool, man. Like that's a pretty cool little feature there. So also, then he comes out and he announces then he announces Mortal Kombat 10 with these new characters. One character is like a female insect, and another one is this little girl on top of this big muscle guy. And they were doing these environmental attacks. Of course, there was Sub Zero and Scorpion. You know, those two were fighting as well, and like the camera kept cutting from this insect girl and this little girl on top of this big strong guy. Like the fight between those two and the fight between Sub Zero and Scorpion. Like the camera kept cutting between the fights, and they did some crazy like environmental attacks. Like they even did some X-ray attacks as well, and they did some fatalities, and man, they look brutal. Uh, One that really got my attention was that I think Sub Zero, like well, not Sub Zero, but Scorpion, like he launched his fireball through Sub Zero's chest, and his heart fell down through the hole, and it was, man, like it was some fucked up fatalities. And Sub Zero, like he punched a hole through Scorpion's chest, reached in, grabbed his spinal cord, and snapped it in half. Like it was some ridiculous things going on in that game. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Just in that little trailer that they showed, like they were doing some ridiculous things, man. And like they introduced like a couple of new characters, so that's always cool. Add some new characters to Mortal Kombat. Uh, he then comes back out and and he talks about the entertainment features of the PlayStation 4, and spoke on how last year they announced some original series coming to the PlayStation, and they had this show called Powers that they showed at the conference, and it was based on a book of the same name made by Brian Michael Bendis and Michael Avon Oeming, and who came out to and then Brian, he came out to speak more about the series and about the story of the game and how it's based on this character who used to be a Powers, or this like super human, who had lost all his powers, and now he's like a part of this force that solves cases that like involving those that has powers. And maybe they find like a hero or like a villain, saying like lying in a ditch or something like that. And pretty much any case that having to do with a powers, quote unquote, um, their force handled it. So that seems to be an interesting series. Now they also announced that um, it will be coming to PlayStation in December, and PlayStation users will be able to watch the first episode for free. And Andrew House then comes back out to talk about PlayStation Plus subscribers will be able to watch the entire Power series for free. And it's like a comic book style, drawing series. And it really looks good. I mean, it looks like something that I would be interested in watching. Um, the premise of the story, seems interesting enough to pull you in. I'm actually, pretty intrigued by the storyline and the way that they presented it. I'm interested in looking at, you know, I'm interested in seeing that series. So that's coming in December, and I can't wait to check that out. So it was a good job on PlayStation part for making that happen. And also they announced a Ratchet and Clank movie, which was pretty hilarious. Like the trailer they showed was pretty hilarious. And that's coming in 2015, and there will be a game based on the movie, if I heard them right. Uh, then he comes out to talk about Last of Us by Naughty Dog being remastered for the PlayStation 4. You know, what I'm saying, like Last of Us won a ton of awards, and they were bringing that to the PlayStation 4 remastered, and the graphics that they showed during the trailer was pretty impressive. Like I didn't see Last of Us on the PlayStation 3, but what they showed, if those were enhanced graphics on the PlayStation 4, then they look pretty good. You know, those look pretty good. So Andrew House then comes back out to talk about Kojima Productions and the trailer for Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. And now I want you to bear with me because I'm doing my best to explain this trailer because it was just cutting from point to point. You know what I mean? And I couldn't really catch on to every little thing that was happening in it. So, like, the trailer starts off with Snake walking through this rubble, and then it cuts off to what seems to be a funeral service or some type of cremation. And then Snakes takes one of the cans of ashes and he smears it all over his face. Then there's helicopters flying around, and you see this African kid point a gun at one of the military personnel. Then you see Snake forcing a knife into his chest that somebody was trying to stab him with, and a bunch of other shit going on. Like, there was a lot going on in the trailer, and it leaves you wondering what the hell is this game about. Like, for those that play Metal Gear Solid 5, I'm pretty sure you know or may have a much better idea as to what the game could be about than what they showed in the trailer. Because the trailer was really just like a clusterfuck. Like, I couldn't follow it at all. It was just too much going on in it. And I dare anybody to tell me that they could follow that trailer. Because it was just cutting from moment to moment. You know what I mean? Like, you couldn't, like, develop, like, a good idea as to what was going on in the game. So, uh, then Andrew House then announces another trailer of a game that will be coming to the PlayStation 4 this fall, and a bunch of enhancements that will be coming. Hold on, wait a minute, because I'm getting kind of confused. Okay, um, Andrew House came out and he spoke about Grand Theft Auto 5 and how it will be coming to PlayStation 4 this fall, and it's going to have like a bunch of enhancements and like a variety of things. And like he also mentioned something that was another blow to Microsoft that was pretty damn brutal. He said that you will be able to transfer your progress from the PlayStation 3 or the Xbox 360 to your PlayStation 4. And I'm just like, what? Like, y'all gonna do that to Microsoft? Like, oh shit, y'all just that was a fucking gut punch. That was a knockout blow. So they're really trying to get that Microsoft, you know, base. Like, they're trying to bring them over to PlayStation 4, and they actually did, you know, something pretty cool there. I mean, if you didn't have a PlayStation 4, I mean, it kind of gives you somewhat of a reason to get one now. You know, saying like if you were thinking about getting one, and say like for example, if you were playing Grand Theft Auto 5 on Xbox 360, and you were like, man, like I would really like to, transfer my progress from you know my Xbox 360, but it's no way for me to get it on my PlayStation 4 or anything like that. So I guess I might as well hold on to the PlayStation. You know, I mean, I might as well hold on to my Xbox 360 version of Grand Theft Auto 5 and hold on to my 360. Well, now you can transfer that progress from the Xbox 360 onto the PlayStation 4. And I'm wondering how the hell did they make that happen? Like that right there is some pretty interesting shit. Like, and I'm gonna need somebody that has an Xbox 360 and that has um, Grand Theft Auto 5. If you plan on getting Grand Theft Auto 5 for the PlayStation 4, let me know how well that works. Because I don't have a PlayStation. I mean, I don't have an Xbox 360, and I don't have Grand Theft Auto 5 for it. I bought Grand Theft Auto 5 for the PlayStation 3, so I I can understand them moving the progress from PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4. So like I can get that, but to move it from Xbox 360 to PlayStation 4, like that's just a fucking. That was actually kind of harsh. That was harsh. Like that was harsh, man. Like they really did a number to Microsoft on that one. I mean, seriously, man. Seriously. But I digress, man. So yeah, moving on. Andrew House then announces that a new game from Warner Brothers Studios will be coming up, and it shows Bruce Wayne. He was putting on this bat suit that looked like it was made by Iron Man, like literally, like it was actually coming on him, like kind of like the way uh Iron Man suit comes on him, and it was pretty sweet. And then he goes out onto his rail, like he stands on it, and then he just dives down into the city, glides around, finally lands on the street, and a Batmobile just swerves around towards him. He hops up like a boss and hops right into it and drives off. The Batmobile then turns into like this battle tank, and then he just starts shooting at enemy vehicles, firing missiles, shooting bullets, and then he ejects out the tank, glides to another area, jumps down to the small group of enemies, beats them up. And mind you, as this is going on, like the trailer seemed to be messing up, and I don't know if they purposely did that or what, but the trailer then cuts off to Scarecrow, and he was giving this eerie speech about, really, saying like how you needed to like watch out for him and some really eerie things. So, but it was a trailer for Batman Arkham Knight, and the action in it looked amazing. The trailer looked amazing. Like the game demo that they showed, it looked pretty damn good. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. So then Andrew House comes out one last time, and he leaves us with a trailer for a PlayStation 4 title made by Naughty Dog, and the people were already going nuts when they found out that it was made by Naughty Dog. And the game starts off with who you assume to be Drake, but he looks kind of older, and he's washed up on this shore, and he grabs his gun that was next to him after he wakes up, and he proceeds to walk into the jungle ahead of him, and the camera pans over to the right, and you see these cages, saying like on these poles with some skeletons in them. And it was a trailer for Uncharted 4: A Thief's End coming in 2015, and that was the end of the conference. The one thing I have to say that they did everything right with this conference, man. The only thing that I have a problem with was that during the conference, it was some moments where the microphones were kind of low. I don't know if anybody else noticed that. I mean, yeah, like it was kind of hard not to notice because you couldn't hear, saying what was being said all that well because the audio kept dropping, and it was some audio bugs going on there. Like it was some malfunctions. And again, with the Batman Arkham Knight trailer, again, I don't know if that was purposely done. Like, I don't know, like maybe like Scarecrow was, saying like uh, messing with the trailer or something like that. And because while the trailer was messing up, it kind of just cut to him out of nowhere. So I don't know if they purposely did that or not, but that remains to be seen. Uh, Other than that, man, they did a fantastic job with presenting some of the games that they presented. I'm really happy with the PlayStation partnerships that they made. A lot of those exclusive partnerships, a lot of the games that they have coming this following year and even later on this year. I'm just that conference just left a big smile on my face, and I cannot wait to see some of these games in action. Like I can't wait to get my hands on some of these games and play them. You know, I kind of wish I was at the E3 conference, which is pretty much like 8 hours away from where I stay, and I wish I was there. I wish I was there to try some of those games out because they really impressed me with a lot of the things that they had, man. And I just can't wait to get my hands on some of these games. Like PlayStation, thumbs up, two thumbs up. You guys did an amazing job. I mean, so like Sony, my bad, Sony, you guys did an amazing job with your conference, and I just, you know, am very, very impressed with what I've seen. And just as a gamer, you guys did a fantastic job. So next time, just make sure like that the audio was right, because I couldn't hear at certain points during the interview. Like it was during the Entwine trailer uh, and game demo that the audio really began to get bad, and then around, let me see, it was around I think Bloodborne, what I'm saying, like around that time that the game really started to, I mean, that the audio started to get better. So I'm just hoping next time like they have that bugged iron out so we don't have to worry about it. But again, two thumbs up for Sony for a fantastic, or at least for the most part, a fantastic E3. I was wondering how you guys were going to top last year, but it was pretty damn good, man. So yeah. So peace. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.